When I turn 70, I'm biking to New York City. You're welcome to come along.
What?
Come if you want.
Lou had just turned 65, and he wanted a challenge for his retirement when he turned 70. He likes challenges. For me, a challenge is writing a short story, finishing a crossword puzzle, or learning a new flamenco dance. Lou's idea did not appeal to me. But 5 years is a long time. I figured he would forget all about it, and yet it kept surfacing birthday after birthday. At 69, he started telling our friends about his grand idea. Bill said,
"Are you nuts?"
and Judy said,
"We'll be your sag wagon."
some offered to go along by car for a week. Others offered to do the whole trip by car, but Lou said,
"You're welcome to bike along, but I don't want a sag wagon."
in 2016, Lou turned 70 and said he would do the ride alone if no one else wanted to come. No way I was going to let him do it alone. And his proposed route sounded doable. We would avoid mountains by hugging the Great Lakes until we reached Buffalo, where we'd get onto the Erie Canal Trailway and go 400 miles across to Albany, a straight line on paved crushed limestone paths. Flat. The towpath must be completely flat, I thought.
We'll finish riding every day by 2 and read by the pool.
The final enticement for me, we'd bike the Hudson Valley. And I love the Hudson Valley painters. Well, that spring when we needed to train, we had typical Chicago weather. Rain, snow, cold. Time was running out for me. But I looked on the internet and an expert said,
"There's no way to train for a cross-country bike trip other than doing it."
The departure day was getting close. Our very old panniers, those are saddlebags, were packed because Lou checked to see whether they would hold all of our stuff. May 27th, the day of our departure, we got up at 6 a.m. and headed out. Photo by Alan. Black clouds hovered to the west. By the time we got to Deerfield, we were in a downpour. We had a long breakfast at Rhapsody Cafe 4 miles from home. After a couple more downpours, we made it to our first destination, the Fairmont Hotel in Chicago. Did you think we were going to camp? And we had dinner with the burgers at Le Colonial, so on Rush Street. Our next goal was Valparaiso. We were heading east. Why was there a strong headwind? After 8 hours of biking, we got there. We had reservations at a Spanish restaurant and for the theater. Valparaiso was sunny. There were adorable sidewalk cafes and pubs. And we were so busy looking at the cafes, trying to pick where we'd have a little coffee, that Lou walked into a fire hydrant and tore a long gash in his leg. A very nice couple rushed to our aid and called the nearest urgent care center. So while Lou saw the doctor, I canceled the dinner reservations and the theater tickets. And 13 stitches later, we went to the motel to regroup. Now, I would have given up. You know, I was ready to go home. But no, we were going to forge ahead. The next day was Memorial Day. We stopped at a grocery to get snacks and water. and we're sitting at a picnic table by the grocery, and two paramedics saw Lou's bloody leg and my white hair, and they came up and started asking us questions.
Where are you from?
Where are you going?
Well, now, they didn't ask us who the President of the United States was or what day of the week it was, but we knew what they were going for. And they wanted to rebandage Lou's leg, but he refused. So they gave us bandages and water, and convinced we weren't fugitives from a nursing home, they wished us luck and left. So Indiana's Amish country was lovely. We were joined by horse and buggies and barefoot bike riders. We rode through Indiana. It was tough, but we made it to Bellevue, Ohio on day 10. Bellevue. What can I say? You remember that Lou had promised relaxing afternoons by the pool. Well, the Bellevue Motel did not have a pool, but it had amazing views. The main drag, where 18-wheeler trucks zoomed by our room all night, and the bikes parked outside all the other rooms. Yes, other bikers were at the motel, but they had bandanas, leather pants, and tattoos of skull and crossbones, and they had Harleys. Day 11, we made important stops. In Oberlin, we bought big tubes of butt paste. As our friend David wrote,
"May your butt paste never run dry."
More importantly, in the next town, Lou went to Target to buy our first roll of duct tape. Remember, he tested the panniers to see whether they would hold everything we needed, but now they were beginning to give way. Day 14, biking Ohio was a dream. Rolling hills, sunny skies, the wind at our backs, and we arrived at a beautiful inn on Lake Erie at 2:30 in the afternoon. It had its own winery and a gourmet restaurant. There was a beautiful terrace and beach. Did we relax and sit under the umbrellas? Did we take a stroll? Did we take a nap? No, we had a knock-down, drag-em-out fight. I wanted to know why we had to bike 50 or 60 miles every single day, day after day. And Lou suggested that if we biked at the pace I wanted to bike at, we might get to New York by Labor Day. So, as always, we compromised. Lou agreed to take some R&R. He would take 2 days when we got to Buffalo, New York. And I agreed to keep up a pace of 50 miles a day. I didn't agree to stop bitching. That night, we stayed up late drinking with the owners of the inn, Karen and Sam, who asked if they could follow our blog. Day 16 was hilly, but not terrible. Now, here's a full disclosure. Lou was carrying about 40 pounds in his panniers, and he had a backpack with computer and electronic stuff and other first aid and things. I had 10 pounds on my bike, and somewhere that day, one of my panniers fell off. So my load was lighter. That afternoon, we reached Girard, Pennsylvania, and we had covered 577 miles. Karen, the owner of the Inn on the Lake, wrote on our blog a helpful note.
Send me a route and I'll look for your lost pannier. By the way, the lake is really snarly and the weather tomorrow is going to be cold and rainy. Maybe you should relax in the B&B in Girard.
A few words about the B&B in Girard. As usual, I called ahead. The owner assured us there were places to eat close by and we could relax in her backyard arbor. But as we biked the streets of downtown Girard, we saw what we had seen in other towns in Indiana and Ohio. Boarded up stores, cracked sidewalks. The only places open were the pharmacy, the tattoo parlor, Quick Stop Gas, and a beautiful Byzantine stone church, Saints Cyril and Methodius Church, was right across from the B&B. The B&B was not charming. The carpets were filthy. The backyard garden had a fountain that did not drown out the rattle of a dying air conditioner, the banging of the doorknob as the wind howled through the night. As promised, there was a pizzeria we could see below our window. Better than the food at the pizzeria, they did not serve alcohol after 10 p.m. So we didn't have to listen to drunks in the driveway. No, we listened to the bells at the Byzantine church every hour and half hour. So we woke up, well, we didn't wake up because we didn't sleep very much, and it was cold and rainy, but we had to get out of Girard. So on June 11th, we made it to Buffalo, and we spent 2 nights at the Embassy Suites. Gisela wrote,
"May the wind be behind your backs and the church bells far behind you."
Our friend Tommy wrote, he was enjoying our ride from the comfort of his armchair. But there was one problem.
I'm embarrassed to say I've run out of Lou's biscotti.
Lou makes fabulous biscotti, and he never gains an ounce. And I, on the other hand, I can't resist them. So we went to an Italian bakery and had them ship Tommy a dozen biscotti. Then we went to Target for more duct tape. 2 weeks before we left Riverwoods, a girlfriend asked me,
"Is Lou making you do this?"
well, those of you who know me know that really you can't make me do anything I don't want to do. And by this time, who knows whose dream it was, but we were both in it. So, next day, we made it to the trailhead of the Erie Canal Bikeway with asphalt paving. The mules had pulled barges along this important waterway. We imagined a smooth, flat path for the next 400 miles. Why did we get lost every day? Well, the trails stopped and left us on roads with no signage for bikers. Google Maps were in their infancy and often gave us sketchy information. And the accommodations we booked always seemed to be at the top of a hill and not really that close to the trail. Also, did I say that the paved trails turned quickly to weeds and ruts? On June 14th, we were only 40 miles to Rochester, New York, where we had reservations at the Del Monte Lodge, 4-star inn and spa, right on the bike path. Only one problem. In Rochester, there were detours due to repairs, and we got lost. A very nice biker put us on the right path, but I noticed that Lou's tread, his tire was very low, and on closer examination, there was no more tread. So we 827 miles, and he needed new tires. We stopped at a gas station and called a bike repair shop. The owner, Roger Levy, asked,
"Where are you?"
And Lou had no idea.
Can you see any landmarks?
Well, he said, we're at a mobile station.
Look east 2 blocks. See a Sunoco station? I'm right across the street.
So after a nice chat with Roger and his patrons, Lou had 2 brand new tires. We got to the Del Monte Lodge after 6, looking like hobos. We asked the woman at check-in if they had a laundromat.
"No, Miss Barr, but if you hurry, our laundry can have everything ready for you by later tonight."
We ran to our room, and Lou stripped and hopped into a hot shower. I put on whatever was remotely clean, pulled our stuff out of the panniers, and listed them on the laundry slip. A bellman rang the door just as I had added up the price. I said to him, "The bill's going to be over $60.
Oh, no, madam. This is on the house.
So, after many days of rutty paths, potholes, and detours, I was losing it. But that night, I discovered a new use for duct tape. There was a sign at one restaurant that said, "Why are you still talking? I stopped listening a long time ago." Anyway, a day or two later, on another detour from the trail, we were biking a local road that paralleled the New York State Thruway. The Thruway, all the rest stops are McDonald's. So we took a service road to the rest stop and sat on the patio with our bikes and had lunch. And people were coming up to us and saying, "Did you ride the Thruway on your bikes?" And Lou said,
We may be senile, but we're not suicidal.
we were very close to the end of the Erie Canal Trailway, and the paths were asphalt. Hallelujah. But we rejoiced too soon. Our second to last ride on the Erie Canal Trailway took us to Amsterdam, where we would spend the night at the motel with the most stars. One. A Super 8. We got to Amsterdam at a decent time. However, the town had closed down. We were lost, but there was no one downtown to ask how to get to the Super 8. We finally realized that the only thing keeping us from getting there was US Highway 50. After much coaxing, I followed Lou up the steep, curving on-ramp, pushing the damn bike all the way. Traffic was flying past us. I was terrified. When a trucker gave a long blast on his air horn, I gripped the brakes, jumped off the bike, would not move. Lou had to intervene.
Lois, I know you're upset, but either bike or get off of here. We're gonna get killed if we stay on this shoulder.
He helped me step over the metal barrier onto a grassy knoll. He picked up my bike and then his, and we had a brief powwow. There was only one other place to stay in Amsterdam, and we had no idea how to get there. We backtracked to the neighborhood where we had left the trail. There, the voice of an angel asked if we need help. Mary Perillo, owner of a fine Italian eatery, told us how to get to the Valley View Motel safely. We had seen pictures of the Valley View on the internet, and I can only say the photos did not do the place justice. The lobby door was held open by a hose with water gushing out. It was the hose draining the laundromat adjacent to the front desk. We got the keys to our room, and as we walked in, the floor was spongy. The curtains were dingy, and the bedspread had seen better days. We slept in our clothes. I took a Benadryl. Oh, I looked on the web to see if the Valley View was still in business, and it is. It's a Night's Inn now, and they have the following amenities: towels and linens. The next day, we had breakfast on the premises at the Star Cafe. The sign was missing the letter A. We sat down at the counter with the regulars. Cigarette smoke and grease filled the air. We stared at the griddle and vowed that nothing from that blackened pool of hog fat would pass our lips. We ordered dry toast from the waitress / cook / cashier, who was at the griddle brandishing an enormous knife in one hand and a spatula in the other. The workman next to me must have seen our worried faces and said something reassuring.
Don't worry, you should be fine. Nancy's taking her meds today.
Lou pointed at a sign over the griddle.
This isn't Burger King. You have it my way or you don't effing get it.
The next day, we bought more duct tape. Our bags were entirely covered, but soon our trip on the Erie Canal Trailway would be over. We spent 2 days in Hudson on the Hudson River, where we were joined by Lou's sister. Lou? And we stopped in Hyde Park to see FDR's statue, but no way we had time to visit his home. Soon we were biking Bear Mountain Parkway. There was no shoulder. The road was so steep and curvy that the speed limit was 25 miles per hour. We pushed our bikes up switchbacks for 1.5 miles. When we stopped at a lookout, Lou was admiring the view. I was admiring a big black pickup truck and wondering whether I could toss my bike into the bed. We coasted down with our hands in a death grip on the brakes. June 27th, hooray! It was our last day, only 33 miles to go. Friends were sending messages of congratulations. The night before, our daughter texted,
Enjoy your victory lap.
well, those 33 miles took 10 hours. You could walk faster than that. Once again, the bike trail eluded us and we found ourselves lost in hip-high weeds. I had a flat tire. Then we got lost in Yonkers. I swear. Then in Sleepy Hollow, I saw an Enterprise rental car office. I was tempted, but no. We coasted through the Bronx on a shaded bike path. We crossed the Harlem River into Manhattan and the safety of Broadway at rush hour. We found Victor's bike shop. Victor was going to ship the bikes back home. I didn't care if I ever saw my damn bike again. All I wanted to do was get a bus over the George Washington Bridge and shower at our friend's condo in Fort Lee, New Jersey. One obstacle remained. The panniers were shut. We needed a rollerboard. Victor pointed us to the local shopping mall, 2 blocks up and 1 block over, St. Nicholas Street. You could buy anything you wanted from tables that lined both sides of the street. Dominican music blared from pirated tapes. The smell of fried plantain filled the air. We were in the heights. The vendor that Victor recommended sold us a suitcase big enough to hold all our clothes and gear for $30. Then we threw our panniers into the trash bin. They had kept it together all the way with the help of 3 rolls of duct tape. As we waited for the bus, we were so grateful for the encouragement of friends and family and the help of strangers. And thanks to our old but muscular legs, we had kept it together. Thank you.